Cowboys, your NFC East champions, they have a playoff home game this Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 Central Time at AT&T Stadium. Jerry so kindly asked all of you that are coming out to the game to put on your white. He wants it to be a whiteout. And I know sometimes Cowboy fans, you get the knock that you're not the most raucous crowd, or you're not the most fan, you're not considered as the crowd of all crowds. And this is a chance for you to kind of get yourself in that category. Be loud, be proud, and wear your white. So that means no navy shirts, no gray shirts. Find a white t-shirt. Find something. Even if you're at home. If you're at home, wear your white shirt. Be a part of this thing, man. The Cowboys are in the playoffs. This thing didn't look like they were going to have a home game. And now they have the potential of having 2 home games. But they take on a worthy opponent. They take on the Green Bay Packers. Now, this name, when you hear the Packers, these colors, the cheese heads, it used to be a time when you talked about the Packers and you thought, damn, the boogeyman's coming to town. There's no way we're going to win. There's no way we have a chance. And that boogeyman was once Aaron Rodgers, and rightfully so. Let me be very, very clear when I say that. He wasn't given the boogeyman moniker because he wasn't good. He wasn't talked about being this mythical creature because he wasn't dominating. No, he got called the boogeyman because he scared the living cheese whiz up out of Cowboy fans. Because anytime you had to go and see the boogeyman, most of the time, you left with an L, especially when you had to see the boogeyman in the playoffs. And so the Cowboys have an opportunity to kind of, I'm not going to say exercise the demons because they don't have to play Aaron Rodgers anymore. But I will say this, they do have to play Jordan Love. And if Aaron Rodgers and all that he was, the boogeyman, I'll give Jordan Love this. I'll say he's a gremlin. Not a super gremlin. They're in Santa Clara. They're not. We ain't get to the super gremlins yet. But I would say that Jordan Love, he has some of the Aaron Rodgers-esque type ability. And this being in his first year starting since Aaron Rodgers' departure and to the New York Jets, it started out a little shaky, but over the last couple games, the last 8 games, you've seen Jordan Love kind of like settle in. You've seen Jordan Love kind of say, you know what? Okay, we can play this. And he's been terrific. 18 touchdowns to 1 interception over the last 8 games for Jordan Love. And so the Cowboys come into this game and they play fantastic at home. Outside of the last home game that they had against the Detroit Lions, the Cowboys have been averaging 40 points a game at home. I mean, they have been absolutely dominant. They've been the number 1 offense, the number 1 scoring offense, the number 1 passing offense. Dak has had his highest completion percentage. CeeDee Lamb has been off the charts. I mean, everything has been going great for the Cowboys at home. And we pray and hope that continues as they take on the Packers this week. And when you get to this point in the season, health-wise is always key, right? You're always asking the question, all right, who's healthy? And last week, the Cowboys didn't have their 2 starting guards. They didn't have Zach Martin. He was out due to injury. He will be back this week. And then you had Tyler Smith. I think they were giving him kind of a precautionary rest in that game. I think if it was win or go home, Tyler Smith would have played in that game. But again, if you needed, Washington Commanders are not a football team that worried me, not even at full strength. But Tyler Smith seems to be okay. Stephon Gilmore in that Washington game, his shoulder popped out of place, popped it back in place. And from all accounts, Stephon Gilmore and Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy, everyone is saying that he'll be fine, that he'll play in this game on Saturday. So from a health perspective, now, I will say this, because there's been a nasty, nasty bug that has been going around the Cowboys locker room. And it caught Zach Martin, morning of the game. Keep Dak Prescott away. Quarantine him. Put mask on. Put him in a bubble. I don't care what you got to do. The last thing that you need is on Saturday evening or Saturday night, early Sunday morning, Dak Prescott is hit with this bug. And I haven't seen reports that he's already had the bug. But guys like Micah has had the bug. Stephon Gilmore has had the bug. CD has had the bug. Zach Martin has had the bug. So now if Zach Martin is, you talk about in close proximity, if the guard, which is right next to the center, which is right next to the quarterback, if that's spreading around there, I want to keep Dak away from the bug. I do. I'm not saying that he can't go out there and have his Jordan flu game, but I'm just saying the last thing you want is your quarterback to have to face a Packers team at home, win or go home situation, and he's dealing with flu-like symptoms. You're talking about, dehydration. You're talking about weakness. Because Dak, in what he does, the strength in who he is in his legs. And I don't want any of that to be compromised. I don't want any of that to take a backseat to his ability to go out there and perform at the very highest level in a game. So quarantine him. Keep him away from everybody. His old lady, she of the Hispanic descent. They have those soups that they can make one of them Colo soups. Do all that you got to do, man. Give him the strip that he needs, because without Dak Prescott in this football game, you don't have a chance. I mean, now there's always levels. I keep telling y'all this. There's levels to medicine. There's levels to treatments. There's level to all these things. NFL has a lot of great drugs. A lot of great drugs. Get you back right quick. And Dak, he's at the highest top of the list when it comes to priority with medicine. They're going to make sure he gets whatever he needs, IV, special, whatever it is. They'll have someone stay at his house overnight. They'll give him IVs until he can't take anymore. They'll make sure that he gets to game day, because it is that important. But the Cowboys, I mean, this is a team that, remember, no Aaron Rodgers, but this team, they played the Cowboys last year, and it was a 31-28 overtime victory for the Packers. And some of the guys that they had then, they have now. And one of them being Watson. And that was a game, coming into that game, they talked about Watson. It was like, oh, boy. Some of the scouts were talking about he even had bricks for hands. He had feet for hands. I mean, he couldn't catch a cold. And all of a sudden, he saw the Cowboys, AT&T Stadium, and he found life. He had a 3-touchdown game, over 100 yards receiving, and it kind of catapulted him into a pretty good rest of the year. He'll be there. He was dealing with some hamstring injuries throughout this year. He'll be set and ready to go. There aren't many household names on this Packers offense. You hear about Romeo Doubs and you hear about Watson and things like that. When you talk about the receivers, they don't have a household name in the tight end. But what they do have is they have a two-headed monster at the running back position. They have Dillon and they have Jones. And I can tell you right now, nobody loves, maybe Aaron Rodgers probably, but after Aaron Rodgers, nobody loves playing in AT&T Stadium more than Aaron Jones.